Hey guys, Mark Meckler coming to you with an emergency update. I don't normally do stuff like this, but we just heard the Trump verdict. It's guilty on all 34 counts. I'm not surprised by that, by the way. I mean, I expected a New York jury to convict him. If they were going to convict him on one, essentially all 34 counts are the same, so they're going to convict him on all 34. But I have to say this about that. This is probably the greatest travesty of justice we've ever seen in the United States of America. It creates a constitutional crisis. I have a couple of suggestions that we need to do from here. Number one, it's New York City is now a failed jurisdiction. It's obvious that people can't get a fair trial there. It's all political. This is now essentially just like a communist state or whatever you want to call it, a banana republic city. My suggestion, only half facetiously, is we should put walls up around the city, blockade the bridges, and kick them out of the United States of America. This is not what America looks like, and it's not going to work if this is the way we're going to do things. Suggestion number two, and this is wholly intentionally inflammatory, but it's realistic. It's what I think we need to do. These are the new rules. We didn't make them, but we live in them. If they can do it to Trump, they can do it to me, they can do it to you, they can do it to all of us. We've seen what they've done with the J6ers. We've seen what they've been doing with weaponizing the FBI. I know personally what they did, weaponizing the IRS against the Tea Party movement. This is the world we live in, and we're going to have to learn to play by these rules, or we're going to have to be their subjects, their minions, their slaves, subject to their every whim, hiding in the shadows, afraid. And so what that means is we're going to have to play by the rules that they've set. My suggestion is that in every small town, in every very conservative jurisdiction in the United States of America, that every district attorney in every county, in every city, start looking at every charge that they could plausibly, possibly stretch to fit Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Mayorkas, all of these people, Anthony Blinken, anybody at a high level in the Democrat Party needs to be targeted with the same kind of lawfare that they've brought to bear against Donald Trump. The juries have to be impaneled. The juries will be made up of nothing but conservative people, very conservative people in very red states to rule on the most brutal charges we can possibly bring against all of these people. If we ever want to get back to a level playing field, if we ever want to get back to the place where actual justice is done in our courts, where district attorneys don't abuse their power, where judges don't abuse their power, where juries don't abuse their power, then there is going to have to be a price to pay for all of this. We cannot walk away and say simply, well, we'll be the good guys and they can do this stuff. We can't count on Trump to do this by himself. Look, I think Trump will ultimately be vindicated on appeal at some point, some way. That wasn't the purpose here. The purpose here was to call him a convicted felon. They think this is going to help them win the election. It's not. But we have to fight fire with fire. And so that's my take. I don't normally do hot takes because I like to think about this stuff, but it's a hot take that I've been thinking about for a long time. And any Republican who gets elected better be ready and willing and able to use the law to the full extent of the law to prosecute any and every public Democrat that they possibly can using the same sorts of methods that this judge used, that this prosecutor used, and that this jury used to come to a conclusion. Because if we don't fight fire with fire, we're going to lose. And there's way too much at stake for us to lose. I'd rather it weren't this way. I would much rather that we could fight fairly in a court of law. I would much rather the prosecutors didn't abuse their power. I would much rather that we didn't have judges like this who so clearly abuse their power. I'd much rather that we have juries that were rational and reasonable and not operating out of their hatred for a particular defendant. But that's not the world we live in. The world we live in is one where Democrats abuse the law in every possible way they can. I want us to stay legal, but I want us to fight ferociously and fight hard and use the tools and the tricks that the left is using against the right now. Remember this. This is the most important thing you can remember. It's not about President Trump. President Trump is merely the point of the spear. He says it regularly. They're not just after him. They're after us. They're after you. They're after me. They're after all of us. Every conservative in the country, everybody that disagrees with the Marxists, the communists, the anti-Americans, the haters, the baby killers, all these people, they hate you and me. And what they want more than anything is to shut us down and or put us all in prison. And I personally don't think we should sit by and let that happen. I will do everything in my power to fight against this. I will do everything in my power right now to support anybody who's going to fight against this. And I don't know what to say other than I'm stunned, I'm appalled, I'm horrified, but I'm not surprised. And at this point in time, all I can say is God bless America, because frankly, without God in the picture, I'm not sure what else is going to save us. God bless America, and don't give up the fight.